All right, so this video is for Wednesday's asynchronous lesson. Okay, in the previous class, we covered how to do break-even problems and total amount problems. And today we'll go over one other type of question, which is how to solve a problem where you are given a rectangle and you need to figure out the length and width of that rectangle. Okay, we're going to follow the same step-by-step process that we've been doing for other questions. So I'll start by giving you an example here. Okay, the length of a rectangle is 4 inches more than the width. The perimeter of the rectangle is 32 inches. What are the length and width of the rectangle? So it can be helpful to draw a picture as best you can. Here's my rectangle, doesn't have to be perfect. We want to label some things, right? So the length we'll call L and the width, right, we'll call W. And then we want to think about how do we do perimeter? Okay, well, we learned in middle school, right? Perimeter means to add all the sides. Okay, so eventually, as we go through this, as we're making an equation, we're going to want to add up all the sides of this rectangle, and we know that'll equal 32. Okay, we also have a relationship between the length and the width, and that's going to help us create our other equation. Okay, so we'll go through this question. First thing we should do, and we'll jump back and forth here, is assign variables. So like I did on the previous slide, right, we're dealing with length and width. So why don't we just use L and W so we know which one is which. You can use X and Y, that's fine. Just label them so you know which is which, that's all. All right, I'm going to use length and width. We need to come up with two equations now. So first we'll start with perimeter. Again, perimeter is adding up all the sides. So, right, if this is length, and this is a rectangle, right, then we know all the sides, or rather the sides across from each other are the same. All right, so if this is length, if this is L, then this is also L, whatever that is. And again, if this is W, then this side is also W. Okay, so there are two W's and two L's. So starting to write our perimeter, we can say 2W plus 2L, and that's going to be equal to 32 inches. Okay, they're telling us the perimeter of the rectangle is 32. That's one of our equations. Okay, but we have two variables, so we need another equation. So now we go back, and remember I've told you this trick of let's cross out numbers we've used, so we're done with the 32. So now we just need to figure out what to do with this 4 inches. Okay, well, it's not just 4 inches, right? It's 4 inches more than the width. Well, what is that? The length, right? The length of the rectangle is 4 inches more, right? So think about that for a minute. Length is equal to, right? Length is 4 more than, well, how do you do more than, right? That'd be adding 4 plus whatever the width is. Well, there's our equation, right? L equals 4 plus W. So let's go ahead and write that down. Okay, L equals 4 plus W, or W plus 4, either way. Hey, now we have two equations. Okay, so we're going to be able to solve. You could use any method, but probably the easiest method here would be substitution because you already have length by itself. Right? You already have L by itself, so you could make a substitution into the other equation. And so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to take my original equation, 2W plus 2L equals 32, but where there was an L, right, I'm going to blow that up and put parentheses, and into those parentheses I'm going to put 4 plus W, or W plus 4, doesn't matter. Okay, now we go ahead and solve. Okay, distributive property, from here I know, most of you are not having any issue with this part. So I'll just go through the steps. Okay, take away 8 from both sides. 4W equals 24, and so W is going to equal 6. Okay, divide by 4, 6, and not just 6, right, but 6 inches. Okay, we need to go back now and find the other variable. So we go back to our equations. Okay, going back to the originals, the easiest one to work with would be this one, right? L equals 4 plus W. So now we know, right, if W is 6, then L equals 4 plus 6, or 10 inches. Okay, and then we want to check. Well, we already used this equation, right, to solve for L, so now let's go ahead and use this equation to do our check, right? So 2 times the width plus 2 times the length should give us 32. And sure enough, it does, right? 2 times 6 is 12, 2 times 10 is 20, and 12 plus 20 is going to be 32. That's going to work out. And that's the process. Okay, I'm going to go through one a little faster now, and then give you one to try. Of course, if you feel like you know what you're doing at this point, feel free to pause and try this one yourself. But I will go through it now. Okay, so very similar, again, the perimeter of the rectangle. So we're going to, first of all, just say L is length and W is width. Okay, always got to assign your variables in the beginning so you know which is which. We're going to make a perimeter equation. Now you can just memorize that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. Okay, we're always going to use that equation. So you can simply say 2L plus 2W equals, now when they tell you, right, it's 34, instead of writing perimeter, just write whatever it equals. Okay, but you can just use that equation every time that we're doing perimeter. So you've dealt with this. Okay, so now it's a matter of what do we do with the 7? The length is 7 inches more than the width. So the length is, right, literally, the length equals 7 inches more than the width. 7 plus W. 7 more than the width, or W plus 7, either way. All right, now you're going to solve. Easiest way, again, is substitution. So over here, where there was an L in the other equation, I'm going to replace it with 7 plus W. And go ahead and solve. I'll go a little faster this time. Okay, combining like terms, skipping a couple of steps, we end up with this. Okay, we end up with W equals 5 inches. Then we know, right, we can take that, plug it back in here, and so we know L equals 7 plus 5, and therefore that's 12 inches. Then we just need to do our check. So plug it back into perimeter. Okay, 2 times the length is 12, plus 2 times the width, which is 5, and that's going to give me 24 plus 10, and yeah, that equals 34, which is what we were hoping for. So we know we did it right. Right, one more example. You should try this one yourself. Okay, so again, pause the video at this point and see if you can get this one on your own, and then I will go through it. Okay, so starting again, perimeter, 2L plus 2W, they're telling us is 50 in this case. And then again, the length is 3 more than the width, right? 3 plus W. And then we solve by substitution. 2, right? Replace the L. 3 plus W plus 2W. Okay, and going ahead. Okay, and again, I'll skip a few steps here. We get 4W equals 44. And so W equals 11 inches. Which means we know, right, that length must be 14 inches since it's 3 more. And then let's just plug it back into our perimeter to make sure. Okay, 2 times 14 is 28. 2 times 11 is 22. 28 plus 22, that does equal 50, so we know we did it right. And that's it. Just one extra type of question beyond the ones we've already done. And I'm just asking you to do one more to show me, A, that you watched this video, and B, that you understood what I tried to teach. Show the work, please. Show all the equations, the setup, the solving of the equations, etc., and the check at the end, please. And if you can turn that in sometime today, that would be great. Let me know if you need any help Feel free to email me anytime, and I can hop on Teams sometime tonight and help you. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great day. Goodbye.